Okay, to start with, let's show you how SQL mirroring is set up in Lync Server 2013. So I'm going to start in the topology builder here. This is really where everything starts when we're talking about configuring our environment. So I've got 3 sites here, and I've got an enterprise edition front-end pool within the Paris site. What I can do is, if I maximize topology builder here, you can see that the biggest change over Lync Server 2010 is that I've got full mirroring awareness built in at the pool level here. So the pool is aware of the primary SQL store and then the mirroring SQL store, and then also the witness there for automatic failover. And all these are configured within topology, and then on the first time you publish topology, topology builder will actually go out and install the databases into the primary SQL store and the mirroring SQL store and set up all the mirroring for you and enable the witness. So from there, what I'm going to do is just jump over to my SQL servers here as well and show you that I haven't had to do anything within SQL Management Studio. It's all completely automatic. Everything there is set to principal and synchronized, and I don't need to do anything there at all. Go back to my front-end server. So as a demonstration of this, what I can do is run some commandlets to check the status and the health of this mirroring relationship. So I'll put in my pool FKDN. And this returns the status of each single linked database and which node, whether it's a principal or mirror, has got primary or which is active essentially, and the status of that, so if it's synchronized or if it's waiting to be synchronized, something like that. So this gives you complete visibility of the health of your database mirroring setup without getting a SQL DBA involved or having to dive into SQL Management Studio at all. Okay, so from here what I want to do is simulate a failure, and I want to do this in a controlled format first, just to show you how a client behaves in that event. So we have a witness configured, so it's all going to be pretty automatic, and everything's going to be online while we're doing it. Let's jump to where my Lync client is installed. So I've got Holly Willoughby here logged in and signed into this pool. So I'm going to open up management shell here, and I'm going to invoke a CS database failover, and I'm going to specify the pool FKDN, and I need to database type. So initially I'm going to fail over the user databases first, and I need to tell management shell what my new principal is going to be. So that's going to be mirror, and hit enter and confirm. And there we go, the failover result has been successful for RTC-AB, RTC-XDS, and RTC shared databases. And we can see over here that the client hasn't even made a blip at all, hasn't even noticed that there's been any kind of failure whatsoever. If I go to my mirror SQL node and hit refresh over here, you can see that I haven't quite kicked in yet. Yep, there it is. So RTC-AB, RTC shared, they've all been principal synchronized, so they're completely failed over to that secondary node. And then I can do the same again for the other databases that I've got. So I'm going to set the database. This time I want to fail over my application databases, so for response groups and call park and things like that. So database type application, and then new principal mirror. So yep, I want to confirm I want to do that. Cool, that's been successful. Now I'll jump back to my primary SQL node this time. Do a refresh in Management Studio here. and now I can see that my RGS response group databases are all at mirror status, so they're no longer the primary, and callback service dynamic database is also mirrored. Click over here, and now the principal over on the mirror node. So that all happens pretty quickly. It all is completely transparent at a SQL level. Everything's managed from a Lync commandlet level, so it makes it really easy for you to maintain visibility of that. Now what I'll do is I will fail these databases back over to their primary, so we can do something a little bit more impactful and take the primary SQL server out of play forcefully. I want a new principal of primary, so this is essentially what you would do to fail back your databases. Confirm that one. Cool. Application databases are done. Now let's do our user databases as well. Excellent, done. Now, before we simulate this complete kind of server side failure, what I'm going to do is just get my database mirror state once more to make sure everything's in the right place. And looks like it is. State on primary reports principal for all. Yep, they're just sort of catching up, so synchronizing on the RTC AB database. So I'll just run this once more to make sure that's caught up. Great, that's all synchronized now. Excellent. Okay, so let's really simulate a more real-world situation. Imagine the primary node of your SQL mirror pair has completely failed. So what I'm going to do is to simulate this is rather than take the server off, I'm just going to stop the SQL server service because I think that's a good simulation of the complete server failing. I'm going to stop that service completely. And here's where the benefit of a witness being deployed comes into play, because that witness keeps track of the health of these two nodes and it detects straight away that the primary's gone offline. So I want to flick to my client again. My client's actually still signed in because we do have a 30-minute window where until this client will go into resiliency mode. So because we've got the witness there, that'll have failed over our databases for us. So I'll refresh on the mirror node here. Cool, so we can see that every single database on this mirror node is completely set to principal. It is disconnected because the primary node's offline, but this server is now servicing all database requests for this front end over here. And if we check the database mirror state again, while that's running, let's see if there's interesting information in the event log here. Great, so one instance of this is that user services was able to connect to the failover partner here for database services. Great, so running the database mirror state commandlet, we can see there's a lot of warnings here because the primary is now unavailable. So everything's in essentially a broken state from a resiliency perspective, but all these databases are online because they're available on the principal, on the mirror rather. And what I can do is say I've recovered this server, I can start this service back up again, then the witness will detect that that service is responding again and make Lync aware of that. It won't fail the databases back automatically. That is something you need to do yourself to fail back to the principal node. And I think that's a good thing because we don't want Lync to start to get a bit of a split brain scenario. So you would need to fail back to the principal databases.